Are we live? All right. I'll take these back. Here we are. We're going to make some Lisianthus today. Oh, man. So how are we doing, Lindsay?
Good.
It's Friday. We have Lindsay over here today. She is, we have, it's spring break, so we've had people come and go out of the office. So Anna is on her holiday, and we've brought Lindsay in. So if you have any questions during our live, go ahead and type them in. Either use the letter Q or all caps question or something so that she can see that it is a question. Sometimes when there's a lot of comments coming through, it's hard to catch them quick enough, so that's helpful. And make sure, let us know where you're from today, where you're watching from, and a little bit about you, and Lindsay can call that out.
Sue says you guys are looking good.
Oh, thanks, Sue. You're looking good too. So anyway, Lisianthus.
Yeah, it was a fun one to make. We made it together.
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you a little bit about my Lisianthus history, which I was talking about out loud a few minutes ago. So I used to own a flower shop a while ago, and Lisianthus, they were an interesting flower for us because in real life they're a very delicate flower, and they don't have a long shelf life, but they were inexpensive, so they would be a great filler flower. However, when we had them in the shop, people would come in and they would think they were roses. They almost look like a rose. But I think that the beauty of the Lisianthus, well, first of all, outside of the center, which Megan's going to teach you how to do this because it's amazing. Outside of the center, these are so simple to make.
They
really
easy.
are. So, I think a rose is a little more complicated. And if you're making a bridal bouquet or something, a big arrangement, this is such a great flower.
Yeah.
To use as a filler flower. But what I think makes them really distinct are the buds.
Yeah.
Because
that's my favorite part.
Mine too, and I love the contrast of the green and the plum together. But what I know about, having them in the shop, there would be a bunch of them, but the buds all stick up above the flowers, and that's what really makes the Lisianthus look like a Lisianthus. And these alone are just gorgeous. So pretty. Yeah. I mean, I could just do an arrangement of this.
You could, or just, those are great to add to bouquets as well.
They are cascading. We were talking about that earlier. So how are we doing?
Good. We got some followers from New Zealand.
Oh, I love
Chile,
it.
South Carolina, Denver.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear her? Give us a thumbs up if you can hear her. Everybody can
speak a little louder. North Carolina. They're ready.
Okay. All right, let's get started. So, we're every time we do a member make, I think this is becoming one of our favorite things to do.
Yeah, it's fun.
We really do love it. We're trying to perfect the method, right? So this month we did let everybody know ahead of time what we were going to make. If you didn't see it, we do the monthly trend watch, which if you don't see that every month, make sure you do go see it. I think we're going to put it in a more prominent place. But anyhow, we did tell everybody we were making the Lisianthus, and then we sent out the list ahead of time. If we can do it, we're going to push that further back so that you guys can, so you can have everything in front of you. And we're also trying to put together these little bundles. So if you're in the U.S., we're working on it, you guys, to get this available for international. But we put together this little bundle so that you could just go grab your crepe paper ahead of time. So we are using, you're going to have to help me. We have so many crepe papers, I forget. So we have chiffon, green tea, cypress,
aubergine.
Aubergine. This is aubergine.
Yeah.
And then sangria. That one I always forget. I don't know why I forget sangria.
I just get them mixed up.
Yeah, I do too. So, you can do more. You don't have to use these colors, but this is what we use. We thought it made a really easy bundle to buy because we have all of these in singles. So what would that be? I don't know, less than $10, and you probably have...
You could make so many of these
flowers. Oh, so many. I would say,
crepe.
Yeah, exactly. Probably like 50 flowers or more out of this crepe. All right. So we have a pattern here for you guys. So you can go download that if you want to. And let's get started by teaching how to make the centers.
The centers?
Okay.
All right. So first thing you're going to do, so we decided to, if you didn't get the chiffon color, You can also use the green tea for
The
these
green
centers
tea,
as
yeah.
well, because we're just going to end up coloring them with some yellow pan pastel.
Yes, and if you don't have pen pastel, you could probably use craft paint.
Use
You
craft
could-
paint, a marker,
right.
anything to get them yellow.
And the nice thing about the pen pastel is it does coat the paper. So if you're using something like this and you put a yellow marker on, it will turn darker.
Yes.
Where the pigment sits on top.
Yes,
Right. Okay.
Exactly. All right. So first we're going to start with the really small center bits, and you're going to need 7 of them.
And you're using which wire? The 18 or the 24?
The 24
okay.
gauge wire.
So we're going to use the 24 gauge wire.
Yep.
And
You're just going to cut about 2-inch lengths of it.
so about here.
Yeah. 2 or 3 inch
Okay.
lengths.
Easy
Pieces
enough.
of wire, yeah.
I'll cut them
So
for you.
Leah's gonna do that. Okay, and then we're gonna take, so you can either cut these out on the Cricut, but I actually found an easier way, which was taking some fringe scissors and cutting with the grain.
And you guys understand with the grain, right?
Yeah. You're gonna cut here like that into it just to create some fringes. Just a few times, and then you're actually just gonna cut. Actually, before I cut these off, I'm gonna color them because it's gonna be a lot easier to color these when they're all connected.
I'm just going to watch you because I have mine done.
Yeah. And so I'm just gonna color these with pan pastel, both sides.
And I love pen pastel. It has, oh yeah, let's move a few things.
this
Sorry,
one, no.
our table is so full.
Oh,
Yeah, the
thanks.
pigment is so rich
Yeah.
with pen pastels.
And so this is what it's gonna look like when you're done. Sorry. Whoop. And then I'm just gonna take my normal scissors and just cut those off. And so they should be at the longest maybe 1 inch in length each. And so then you're just gonna have all these little, I don't know, little bits.
This
or
is where I
maybe
have
on
to put my
hands
glasses on.
will work. And so these are gonna be your stamen pieces.
Would you ever use a fixative spray at this point?
You could.
You could,
Yeah.
yeah, if you really want to make sure that that pan pastel doesn't transfer onto anything else, you can use a fixative.
I think that's a good idea. And also, if you put the pen pastel on the paper before you cut it,
Mm-hmm.
pen pastel it, spray it, let it
Yeah.
dry, and then cut it.
Yeah.
That might be a really good way
Yeah.
to keep
That'll
things
work.
in place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, and so you're gonna take each little piece, and all I did was I kind of twisted it and made it a little rougher, not so perfect, and then I folded it in half to make like a little loop. And I'm just gonna glue this with some tacky glue to the tip of one of my 24 gauge wires. So I'm gonna put tacky glue on the wire first. And then just fold it over the wire, and you just want the ends of the pieces attached to the wire so that you still have that loop at the top. So
And
yeah, it's gonna look like that.
And I'm gonna pull this over here and show what it looks like done. So you can see the loops on all 5 of those outer pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you're gonna make 7 of these for your center.
There's only 6 on here.
Okay. 7.
So 1, 2. Okay, there's
7 on this one.
Oh, okay, 7.
6,
Listen to her.
7, 5.
5. It
I
probably
mean,
doesn't matter, but yeah. Okay.
All right, and then you are gonna take your, I believe this is a stigma.
Yeah, it is. And here's the
This is
pattern
stigma.
piece. It's super
Yeah.
tiny,
Really
if you can see it
small.
there.
Yep. And so
Yep.
you're gonna color that piece with your pan pastel as well.
And you know, if you do have a Cricut, and if you're doing a lot of these flowers and you have a Cricut maker, you could cut all of those ahead of time.
Oh yeah.
They just fly away. You
Yep,
have to.
They fly away. I kept losing them today when I was cutting everything out.
Yeah. So maybe put them in a little bag or container.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then you're gonna take another one of your wires, and I'm gonna take that centerpiece, And I'm actually just going to stab a hole right through the center of it with my wire. Just push it right through. Just like that. And now I'm going to add some glue to it. Just to the wire. And then fold that piece up so that about half of it is attached to the wire, I'd say. Just like that. And then just kind of press it into the wire until that glue dries. And then you can, if you want to look at the piece that's already done.
I'll bring it over? Okay.
Yeah. And then you're just going to fold it out so that you get a nice little, that shape.
So we have 2 of these here. I'll bring both of them out. And also for you guys, I actually took a picture of these close up and put them on the post, so that you can look at them, even without the video. It's helpful. All right, and then we have 2 complete ones.
And so we already have 2 done for you. So you're gonna take the stigma and your 7 stamen, and you're gonna attach them all to the wire using floral tape.
I must have made this one because there's only 5 or 6.
It's all right. Once the flower's done, I don't
That's
think
true.
anyone will notice. Some of them might only have 6.
Yeah. So this is where I would say floral tape comes in really handy. So there's been some discussion on why use floral tape. We'll show you how we're going to cover our stems later, which is not using floral tape.
Yeah.
But there's a time and place.
Oh yeah.
Like I would not want to glue these on with a hot glue gun.
No.
I would not want to glue them on with this white glue. You really do need floral tape for this.
Yeah.
So that's it. You just take the however many, and then we're using this nice big thick stem, the paper covered stem.
Yep.
And putting them right on the tip, and it's ready to go. Yep. So we're ready for petals.
Easy. Yeah.
Do you have a quick question?
Yes, I'm going to
What
move
mat
this.
did you use for your crepe paper with the machine for this extra fine?
I used just the standard green mat
Mm-hmm.
for this one. I actually tried using the light grip because I had a brand new one, and I was like, this might work, and it did not work.
Yeah.
It just started peeling off as soon as I started to cut. So I'd say at least use the standard mat, if not the strong grip.
Mm-hmm. And make sure it's the maker. Don't try to cut it on anything.
It's the maker.
The maker with the rotary blade.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now we have petals.
Yeah.
So
Get some petals.
2 different
let's
shapes.
do we want to add pan pastel to these today?
we can. Yeah, let's just show them. That would be great. And I have some pan pastels
Yeah,
right
she
here.
has some over here.
So here's the whole set.
Yeah. And we just used, a variety of colors out of this set.
I think this is where you can have some fun.
Yeah.
You know, you can add some variety. In the bouquet that we made, some of our flowers have pan pastels on them, some of them don't.
Yeah,
we
some of them didn't.
We wanted that variety.
We kind of stuck with all the pinks and
We did.
purples since our flower was purple. That's what we're gonna do. Here.
So it's not necessary if you don't want to do it.
These
Yeah.
2 colors. And yeah.
I'm gonna do mine plain.
You're gonna
How's
do
that?
yours plain? Okay, I'll color mine. I'm just gonna
So I'll just
color
do-
the tips of mine with the magenta just a little bit to give it some more dimension.
Mhm.
Like to tell them what pen pastel set this is when you refer to the set.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is the Leah Griffith designer set. I don't have the whole one here in front of me because I keep opening them, but it looks something like this. And we have the 7 colors that we use the most. And it's also the 7 colors from our book. Pan pastels, they're like one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
And yeah, we're actually looking at expanding. So we'll have our 7-piece designer kit, but we're also looking at bringing in some other colors that you can buy one-offs, or if you run out of a color, you could replace it.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Once you color your petals, you can start shaping them.
Okay,
And
so we have 4 of these. This is the smaller,
These are
and
gonna
then
be the
10
center.
of the bigger. And they're really easy to shape too. You're
They are.
not going to do a whole lot except stretch the center. You want it to be kind of roughly up on top.
Yeah, and with the center one, I did use the curling tool a little bit to like make those little
Curling tool.
bits go in different directions. And so like some of them I curled out, some of them I curled in just to make them a little more wild.
Yeah, we did have a Lisianthus on our site that was done a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And when we looked at it, we thought, okay, how can we make this even
can
more
do it better.
interesting? Yeah. So I would say that would be a beginner Lisianthus, and this is a little bit more advanced. But I don't think it's really that difficult. I think even a beginner could do this.
I think the most difficult part about this one is maybe the center, just because the pieces are so
so
small.
tiny. You have to put on your glasses.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I have to put on my glasses. Okay, so we have our 4 petals, and we're just gonna put these right around the center.
Yep, and for attaching these, you can use floral tape, you can use hot glue, you can use tacky glue.
I'm gonna use floral tape.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna use tacky glue.
So we're gonna try 2 different ways. So I think for the floral tape, it works best for me just to add 2 at a time, and then I'll add the other 2 on top of that. We didn't even plug in our hot glue guns today.
We didn't. We're not using a hot glue gun today.
Are
we?
Nope. I guess not. We didn't plug them in. Yeah. So that means you can do this camping. No, I'm kidding. All right. Or when the lights go out, or when the power goes out, you can still make these flowers. So that was really easy. I just put 2 on one side, tape 2 on the other side.
Easier than the tacky glue.
The only thing that I noticed about tacky glue, and the reason why I didn't want to use it, I have a heavy hand with my glue.
Yeah.
So it just gets soggy.
You have to use
very little.
Just the smallest amount.
Yeah. It gets soggy and then it falls.
It does.
And that was what I was noticing when I was attaching my big petals to these flowers. They were
falling.
Yeah,
I was having to hold mine. We'll show you when we get there.
We'll show you. Okay.
But
here's my center. It's just very wild. You don't want it to be too perfect. It just wants to look kind of wild, almost like a tulip.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start working on these petals. I'm just stretching the centers to make a cup, and then using the curling tool to give a small kind of a lip on the edge. Then I'm pulling and stretching. Is that what you were doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, just to make it a little ruffly.
So it looks something like this. Maybe even a little bit more ruffled if you want to. And each petal, petal a little different for the variety. Do we have any questions over there?
I get this question a lot.
Okay.
Where can we purchase the really thick wires that you're using?
Yes. Okay, the wires, we will have links for you. We are trying, and no. It's not we're trying. It's going to happen. We're actually getting these in our shop. We're working on getting them all packaged and ready, and I would say, I don't know when, maybe in 6 months we'll have it. Sometimes things take longer than we want, but maybe sooner. But right now there is a link that you can go and get them on Amazon. They are not always in stock, so keep that link if it's not in stock and just keep clicking it, and when they're available, grab them. They're a little bit harder to find, but we found them. We're packaging them up. We're going to be very competitive with our price, so you guys can get them from us eventually. And then the other wires, the same thing. We have these, and we're also going to carry these. These are all from Amazon, and we have links for them. They're paper covered. We like paper covered for our paper flowers, more so than just the wire, the metal wire, or the fabric covered. I don't like so much.
Everything sticks much nicer to the paper covered wire. It's a little bit easier to work with.
Yeah, it does. And I would say, I like fabric covered for felt flowers.
Yes, we always use it for the felt flowers.
Yeah, but for paper on paper. So this is fun. It's just very gently stretching and curling, and there's 10 of them. And ruffling. And I'm kind of doing things out of order sometimes. That's okay. Any questions while we're...
I guess just a follow-up to that, we've talked about this before, but what can you do if you can't get the
If you can't get the thick stems.
Is it important for this? Can you just use single stems?
No, I think the beauty of making crepe paper flowers is if you don't have a certain material, you can make it up. And at the end of the day, when we're done with this flower, and if you want this nice thick stem, we'll show you a technique towards the end where you can bulk it up without having the wire. We just love them because they look more natural, and they're also easier to handle because they're thick.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of the ideal, but it's certainly not the only way. Yes, you're going to help me. Thank you. I know I'm talking. I'm talking too much. So, I think, was there another question about color, the Lisianthus color?
What other colors would you recommend?
Right.
And could you use heavy or double-sided crepe paper for this flower?
Okay, yeah, so we'll both answer this question. So Lisianthus come in white, pink.
Yeah, like a blush pink, like a lavender, like a way lighter purple.
Yep, and then this plum color. Any sort of purples, pinks, whites.
Yeah.
So you could use any of those colors. We were trying to choose colors that would be easy in singles that you guys could buy. And as far as like heavy crepe paper, I think you could probably do a heavy crepe paper Lisianthus. I don't think it'd be as pretty.
It wouldn't, just because a Lisianthus petal is so light and airy, and I think the extra fine crepe paper gives it that feature.
Lightness. I even I'm going to show this. Look how these petals are kind of falling away from the main. This is what a Lisianthus looks like. I mean, the petals fall away, and they're a bit uneven, so I think this makes it look so realistic. I feel like the heavy crepe paper would just be that. It would be really heavy.
Yeah.
Are you going to show us how you put that on?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're going to start attaching these flowers, and there's not really any, I don't think we really had any rhyme or reason which way we put the petals on. Just kind of evenly around the flower. Try not to stack your petals.
One on top of the other?
Yeah.
You just want to rotate them as you go. I think if I had my hot glue gun turned on, I would be using it right now. So I'm going to challenge myself and use floral tape. So back to that question, I would not use a double-sided crepe paper for this flower at all. I just think it would be too heavy.
Yeah.
It would just be too thick, and it wouldn't give us that lightweight look that we're really wanting.
Yeah, double-sided is really good for flowers that need a lot of structure.
And also have a smoother petal.
Yeah.
I think my favorite double-sided is probably the gardenia. I love, and also roses. I love roses in a double-sided.
All right, and so I'm using tacky glue to attach these petals, and so I actually turned my flower upside down.
And I'm doing it too. I don't know why. I don't need to. I guess.
And so that my petals, otherwise if I hold it upright, the petals are going to start just falling down because that tacky glue makes the crepe paper a little bit weaker to begin with, but its hold is so much stronger, I feel like, once it dries.
And I think, I'm using tape to put mine on, which seems to work okay. But because I can only do a couple petals at a time, I'm getting thicker at the base, which is probably all right. So it's your method. You guys pick what works best for you. And what, I don't know, I'm just a hot glue girl. Where's my hot glue gun?
So do any of the examples in the vase use
Yes.
hot glue for most of those?
I would say it's about half and half because I made half and Megan made the other half, so it would be about half and half.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those. You can make different sizes of the flowers. Ours, we made just the one size, but you could size down your petals and make a smaller as well if you wanted some variety. I think that we liked this size thinking that it takes a lot of space in the bouquet, and sometimes when you're designing a bouquet, you want a flower to take space because
you really need like a filler flower, and you don't want to have to make 20 of them.
Right. Yeah, like 6 would do a really good job.
Yeah.
Okay, I only have one more petal after this, so.
Sue Bowen is asking, are you making the buds?
Yes, we're gonna make the buds next.
We're gonna show you how to make the buds.
Yes, and the buds, we were talking about this just a few minutes ago. The buds would actually work as a rosebud, or a similar technique, maybe just larger, because these are pretty tiny. Now we're usually faster than this. This is a This is New Moon Friday, so we're a little
is
pokey.
it?
Yep, we had a new moon last night.
There you go.
So we're a little sleepy, a little pokey. All right, so after we get all the petals on, there's
Yep.
one last step.
We're gonna do the crepe paper. Oh wait, the
Yes.
never mind.
So we
What
have
are they called again?
sepals. Yeah.
Sepals. I was
We-
like, I can't remember.
so we have sepals on our pattern, and they literally look like this. Can you see them?
They're so tiny.
They're so tiny and really long.
Oh,
Oh, focus. Here, let me put my hand up. Sometimes we have a little. We'll get it. We'll get
We're
it.
working on
There we
it.
go. Okay. So
They're tiny.
that's how tiny they are. And before I put this sepal on, I'll just give it a very gentle curl.
mm-hmm.
Not a whole lot. And remind me, how many sepals do you put on every fall?
5.
Okay.
I was putting
Maybe
about
that's why I
5
got
on,
5 on my center.
or more,
Or more.
however many you feel looks best.
And this is the same sepal that we'll use for the bud as well. So 5. And then, instead of having the sepals go outward, they actually go into the flower.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just space them out around your flower and then tape them on. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm going to get started on the other.
Mm-hmm.
But you can I'll show you this. So, jumper. So at the end, it will look something like this. Then I'll take that little piece of glue off, or fluff, whatever it is. So then what we're going to show you is covering the stem. This is I don't know, we prefer it on a lot of flowers. It just looks more natural. I think we did it on the last flower as well. I'm just taking my whole roll of crepe paper and I'm cutting probably about a 1/2 inch. Do that a few times
Mm-hmm.
and make your own floral tape. And what I found is that I don't even need to add glue to it. You can really kind of wrap it upon itself.
Yep.
But
I would put a little glue just at the start.
But I think it's a smart idea. Don't do what I do. Do what I say. Add a little bit of glue. And then Megan had the smartest idea. This is why it's so fun to work with more than one person. So instead of gluing the whole piece of tape, what she does is she just puts a little bead, if we can get this going here.
Here.
I just need a wire.
Do you want this?
Yeah, but that's okay. I'll let you use
Okay.
it. There we go. Okay. So Megan just showed me this the other day. Just put a little bead of glue down the wire. And you're going to get a bit gluey as you do this.
Oh yeah. Your hands.
This already has the paper on it. I'm just going over the top just to show you guys. So you don't have to have more than one layer of paper. And then you just wrap it around and that one bead of glue will hit it enough to keep it in place. But I found the trick to doing this
Mhm.
is you really want to stretch that crepe paper and keep it as smooth as possible. That's where you'll get the smoothest transition, and then you won't get the bulky crepe paper look.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys can see this. As I go down, you want to zoom in here?
It's a similar method to using floral tape where you stretch
Yes.
slightly and
Yeah.
pull as you go.
Yes, and this is similar, but it's important for me. You can see the glue kind of popping out here, seeping through. It's important for me to keep it as stretched and smooth as possible so that you can't see the seams. And it works pretty well. Yeah. So going back to bulking up your stems, you could do this. You could wrap several layers. You could also do a heavy crepe paper layer to start and then do a smooth over the top if you want it to look smoother. So that's how you can bulk out your stems really simply. Yeah. All right, I'm going to finish that off.
Set this. Let it dry.
And there's our Lizzie. Okay, then we're going to do these.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
the buds.
So the buds, we have here our smallest paper balls, and I don't know if some of you have not heard us talk about these. This is our new love. So we're trying to become a foam-free studio, and
Yeah,
we're doing a pretty good
we
job
are.
of it. So we sell these. These are the smallest version. They do have a little hole. They're spun. It's a spun paper, cotton paper type thing.
Yep.
It almost looks like a
We're
cotton
actually
ball
gonna
when you
use
drop it in water. Oh, you're using the
18
small one.
gauge.
Sorry,
Yep.
we're not using the big one. Using the 18 gauge,
There you go.
and you'll want to glue that right inside.
Mm-hmm.
So just add your glue to the tip. and place it in, and I'll let that dry.
Yeah. Will you
Then-
pass me a wire as well?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and then I have 4 of these pieces, and this is the Lisianthus bud, and I just love this pale green color, the green tea. And what I'm going to do, and I actually did this with hot glue, but we're gonna do it this way. I will, I know. So we're going to glue them together. I'm just adding a dot of glue right there. I'm gonna glue them together. What I'm envisioning is that the center of each of the, let's see, what would we say it? So we have a teardrop here. So I want to join all of them at this center. Okay, so just a little tiny bit of glue, and I'm rotating them so it's almost a spiral, and you'll see why. So this will be the top of my flower where they come together. And since you're using this white glue, you might need to let it dry for a little bit. I don't have time, so we're going to try and make it work. Then I'm coning it, flipping it back around. So you want to put, see how this is the top piece? So this top piece needs to go underneath the first one that you laid down so that you have a full spiral. Am I explaining this okay?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm learning as we go as well.
Because sometimes when we do these, we tag team it, so I'll do part of
Yeah.
it and Megan will do the other part.
So like look at
Yes, so it looks like that.
mine. This one? Ooh.
And then here's my finish. So it looks like this. You can see. All right, and I haven't glued it yet, so I'm going to go ahead and add that glue. Then that's a perfect little hat to put over the ball on your wire. And hopefully it will. Then all I'm going to do is crunch down the pointy bits and put some tape around it.
There you go.
Are you not doing it? I know,
my
it's so
glue isn't-
technical.
I think I put too much glue on mine.
Oh, so you have to let it dry, yeah.
So I need to let it sit first.
You could do that with hot glue. This
Mine.
is easy enough to do with
It's
hot
already
glue.
coming apart.
I'm going to use my tape on this because
So
again,
perfect.
I want it to, well, you know.
This is why we did it together, because
Right.
I couldn't. I was trying to make a bud, and I was like, Lee, I know you know how to make these.
So then I'm using my floral wire or my floral tape, I'm sorry, to
Mhm.
keep all the bits down at the bottom. And then we have 5 of these, and I'm curling them.
I'm gonna try.
Same thing, just giving them a little tiny gentle curl. And when I put them on, I want them to float just a bit above. And you'll do 5 of these and then tape those on. And once I have that done, I'll go ahead and wrap that with the whole DIY floral
Yeah.
tape to give it the same color so it's really soft. So you'll have a lot of excess on this one. We made them only one size. It was less confusing. So that way you had only one piece for both the flower and the bud. But
Yeah.
on these, you will have a lot of excess that you'll cover up, which is nice because you don't want them to break off. And I think the buds are more fragile. So, and then Megan's going to show you how to do the leaves
Yeah.
Mhm.
All
as I
right.
finish this up.
That works. So you have all of your leaf halves, and again, make sure, we say this every time, pay attention on that template, which direction the grain lines are going.
Because we call this a V cut.
Yeah, we're doing a
We'll
V
do a real
cut.
close up.
So that's a leaf that has been glued together.
That's where the grain just really comes to life.
Yeah, and so we use tacky glue for these again. And you just put this, a tiny amount of glue right on the edge. You can use, I think in our last video, we showed a method of dipping a wire into the glue and then applying the glue with the wire. If you're generally a little bit heavy-handed with your glue,
Like me.
that can help a lot. Yeah.
And the reason why we like tacky glue for the leaves is because it doesn't bulk up.
Yeah, it doesn't bulk up. It's dries clear if you get a little bit too much. Yeah, so your leaf. And then you can shape these. You can curl them with your curling tool a little bit if you want to, just to give it that. You can stretch them, make them a little more ruffly.
The putting them together in the center with glue also gives them more structure.
It does, yeah. So they don't just flop over.
And these are just an extra fine crepe paper, so that extra structure is so nice.
Yeah, and you can add these we added some of these to the stems of our flower. So I'm gonna add one to my stem just with a little bit of glue, and these will stick really nicely
to the paper.
Now. So we're just gonna use glue to attach these. We're not gonna use floral tape or anything. We're just gonna use a little bit of glue.
So paper to paper always works really well. That's another reason why we like the paper for stems a lot. Although again, you do need your floral tape for some things.
Just gonna attach it there so it has a little leaf coming off of it. So we have this size leaf, and then we have these little tiny baby leaves, which you don't need to glue together or do anything to. These are just to add to your bud stems.
Maybe to add right up
just
here.
add
I'll go ahead
right
and
to the top of your bud stems.
So I'll just curl it a bit.
Yeah.
Add just a touch of glue. And I think, again, going back to the real Lisianthus, what makes them so beautiful is having, here I'll pull this back, is having this cluster of buds and leaves and having those almost separate. Or you can also add a bud right onto your stem like this. And that looks so realistic.
And to add like this, you're going to want to use floral tape to attach your bud to the stem of your flower.
Because it's stronger, and then cover it with the
and you're going to cover it again with your crepe.
With your crepe tape.
Yep.
Is that what we're going to call it?
There you go.
Your yes. We're going to coin that. Any other questions?
Is there another option for the paper ball if you don't have paper balls?
We've heard of, you can use a bead. You can find a bead in the right size. We've used wooden beads before.
They're a little heavier.
They are heavier.
You can use a foam ball.
You can use a foam ball instead of a
and
paper
also,
ball.
You can take some paper towel or toilet tissue.
Yeah, like paper towel because it's a little stiffer, or toilet paper or something, and roll it up into the right size ball.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else?
As well.
Sean Reedy says you both work so well together.
Oh,
Thank you.
we do. We have so much fun. I feel like, especially lately, when we sit down and design flowers together, they're that much better.
Yeah, they end up a lot better because we each have tips for each other that we wouldn't have thought of alone.
And it's good to have 4 eyes on it, or maybe 8 when we wear our glasses. She wears glasses too. Anyhow, all right, we are so excited to see what you guys make. I have to tell you, the flowers last month with our daffodils, so stunning.
So pretty.
Absolutely beautiful. So we're excited to see what you guys make. I want, you share them, take photographs, put them up. We were doing some sort of a giveaway, right?
Yes.
Do tell. What are we doing? I can't remember.
Decide.
Okay, so hashtag.
What do you guys want?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so hashtag Made with Leah, or you can hashtag member make. And I know sometimes we were looking for some of the hashtag member makes, and I think you figured out that some people were putting in the month as well, which we used to do. So we were trying to simplify. It's okay if you put in the month, we'll always look for it.
Yeah.
But it's member make. You can say member makes. We'll look for those too.
Yeah.
But one of the things I know we're going to put in our giveaway, so we'll probably do some packs of crepe paper because that everyone can always use crepe paper.
Yeah.
But we're going to throw one of these in too because we just got them in and we love them.
Oh,
and this is your little cheat sheet chart for all of your crepe paper. So we'll give you, a pack of crepe paper and one of these. So we have these in about 4 places of our studio now, so we can always remember. There's so many colors. So we're definitely going to do that. So make sure when you share your photographs, use the hashtag, and we're going to call out a winner.
On both Instagram and Facebook.
Yes, Instagram and Facebook. So we'll pick a winner from each platform. Is there anything else that we want? Oh, yes, we were going to talk to them about next month. So the May member make, we have been getting a lot of requests to do, I can't remember now. Oh, lilac.
Lilacs.
I was going to say hydrangea. Yeah, I was going to say hydrangea, but no, lilacs. And Megan and I were looking at it and we thought, okay, it's a challenge. I think we would like
we
to
can
do it.
Yeah.
So if
think
you
you can pull
guys
it off.
think you want some lilacs, let us know. Like, comment right now, because if that's the case, we're going to start
Yeah.
working on
We'll do that.
designing and developing that pattern. I have to say, if we do lilacs, you're going to want to have a Cricut maker.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a lot of tiny
There'll
petals.
be a lot of cutting, a lot of little petals.
Little tiny petals. I might have to
It
put
might
on
end
my
up being a really long
Google
live.
glasses. Yeah. We probably won't do the whole stem on live,
Yeah.
but we'll show you the techniques of how to do it. So if that's something you're interested in, let us know. If not,
Yep.
throw out your idea of a flower. We try to cover them all, and it's always a great
Yeah.
idea to expand ourselves into
It's a
flowers.
flower we haven't done,
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge for us too. We like it. So remember, make a challenge for you and for us. So anyhow, thank you guys for being here, and we will see you next month.
yeah. See
And
ya.
can't wait to see your flowers. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.